Hello, welcome back to another episode on our channel. This is going to be another story, another transformation, and another client that we have worked with. Hi Puneet, how are you?
I'm good, Vernon. Thanks for calling me in for the podcast, and I'm really looking forward for the conversation. Yeah.
All right, so the main idea about talking about each journey is because we learn something different out of every conversation that we hold with different people, right? So, with your journey, how do you feel in terms of your current routine, the lifestyle that you have modified, or the changes that you make over the last couple of months? How do you feel about it at this point?
Honestly, I first thing is that I'm surprised that I have, changed for the good in terms of health and also positively impacting not only my life, also the people around me are feeling quite a lot inspired by the whole journey because they have seen me in the worst, situation with respect to the health, and now they are seeing me like little not perfect, but yeah, going to be in a like getting into a better shape. So I think this is pretty a feel good kind of thing.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
Yeah.
And did go through that information which you shared with me over
Mhm.
on text, right? Like some of the things that you inculcated in your own routine. I would also like to know like what kind of things, and the audience would also like to know what kind of things that you tried out on your own at first, and like how did you transition it from, let's say, day one to day 30, or maybe after a couple of months, and later you also took under coaching at PFC with Coach Neha. So like how did that process happen for you? How did that process happen for you, and that transition take place? If you can just shed some light onto it.
I think last February I was in the worst shape of my life, and I think the trigger was that I was undergoing a lot of meds for, especially with the blood pressure and so on. The major part was me being overweight. So I just wanted to like get rid of the medication first. So that was my first point, and then I just wanted to be. I started with the step counts first. So that was my first thing. I was looking into a lot. I was going through a lot of videos on YouTube and in general reading a lot of stuff. I'm also from science background, so I was just going through like what will trigger or what will change and how long the motivation will last to get transformed. So I think the main crux from all the readings and watching the videos was that I need to go slow. So that was my first thing. So I just started with the step count. So I increase slowly, and my job is majorly in the rice field. So I'm a rice scientist. So I walk a lot. I started walking a lot. So that was the first day one. I started with that,
Right.
and I think I've been continuing that habit even now, even when I'm going through professional coaching with PFC under Neha. Yeah.
All right. So you did say walking. Like when you started off with walking, like did you set up a target for yourself, like number of minutes or number of steps or something like that?
So the idea was like, again, as all know, so when you read about walking or in general the fitness regime, so people talk 10K steps a day. So I didn't put a figure out there as such, but like I thought like if I can reach that consistently every day, that will be a good starting point. And previously I was like walking like 2000, 3000 steps a day, which was not there. So I thought like I need to put an intentional effort, and I really need to push myself, let's say in small slots. Like I can't do 10K in a day. So in a go. So I just started like, okay, 30 minutes walk in the morning, and maybe I can intentionally go for walks in the afternoons in the field, and then also in the evening. So that's how it started. Yeah.
All right. And so during the initial phases when you were just starting out with the steps, so did you think that your stamina or endurance is taking a hit, or was it something completely normal to you, or you didn't feel a difference at all after
So
completing those steps?
I think I didn't feel a difference as such in the stamina and so on, but definitely I was tired to a great extent
Hmm.
in the evenings. So, but while walking, it just didn't feel like, because it was more enjoyable. Like I was taking the calls and the meetings on the walk, and also like just going out with friends for after the tea break or after lunch. So that became a habit. So that was not much of a problem. I was not even thinking that I'm clocking in those steps. So I think that was kind of the
Yeah,
thing.
because once you like set up a timer for that, and if you keep checking it every
Hmm.
now and then, it feels a
Yeah,
little bit difficult, right?
exactly,
It's just
exactly.
same as attending a boring lecture when you are just looking at the clock
Yes,
and
yes,
the
yes.
time is just not running out. You're
Yeah,
not able to
yeah.
do that. But you did enjoy this part of
Yes.
walking, and I can personally relate to it because I
Yeah.
love walking. If I even if I'm not able to work out, I make sure like it's a habit that I have to walk some or the other time by the end of the day. So that's actually a great habit. And you also told me that it also led to some weight loss over the couple of
Mhm.
weeks, right? So after losing some weight in the initial parts, did you feel a change in how you're feeling about yourself, how you're feeling about your body in general, or like how your energy levels are overall?
So I started recording or checking my weight almost every day, not every day, but almost every day.
Mhm.
So for the initial period, because I was 104, I was standing like at 104 kg. So the initial weight loss was very quick. Like I kind of in a couple of months after this intense walking and a little bit control over my diet, I lost like 6, 7 kgs. And the stamina was still not there, and I got off the especially the blood pressure medicine, like on my own. I just gave up, and of course with the consultation with the doctor, so they said, yeah, now it can go off. uh, yeah, the weight then now I feel like I lost almost 26 kgs over a year. So I feel like a lot more energetic, and so now I live at sixth floor, so I can walk the stairs without even huffing and puffing. So I think that's a big
Yeah.
improvement in my cardiovascular capacity, and also started with strength training as well. So that's a good
Oh.
plus for me. Yeah,
That's commendable that you're
yeah,
able to lose about 26 kilos,
yeah,
and you're also able to maintain that lost weight, right? That's
yeah,
also
yeah.
equally important in that some cases, because what I have also observed is when people try to sort of crash diet into things, and they end up like gaining all that weight back just because it was not sustainable enough for them, or
Mhm.
they were trying to find some kind of quick shortcuts or chasing something of that nature. But so far you have done a great job in that area. So yeah. And when you started working with Coach Neha, like how did you start things off with, and what kind of structure did you think, and what kind of structure you were provided with that helped you get even better and make more progress in your journey?
So, like, I started my fitness or transformation journey in March last year, and until August, I was like just doing hit and trial methods on my own. So, like, walking was there, and also like restricting eating habits a little bit. But then I came across her profile on Twitter, and then I was inspired, and I thought like I should contact her because I was watching videos, and it was more, and also her tweets, it was more from the scientific perspective. So I approached her, and then we got on a call, and she structured a program for me. And the first thing, I mean, I think a lot of people can relate to me that I was missing on protein to a big extent.
Hmm.
So that was the first pointer that she corrected or she rectified in my program. And then from there on, I started having the whey protein, and in general, like including protein over all the meals. So I think that was the main thing that she uh, like. Uh,
Introduce in your
yeah, yeah,
structure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then of course the strength training came also along with that, but initially it was slow. But then as soon as this ethical challenge hit, so I think I got a little more serious about. I thought not to win, but I thought like this can be a very good motivation for me to go into that. So that
And to
way.
be able to push your own limits and get a
Exactly.
little bit more out of your comfort zone on a
Exactly.
consistent basis. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And that's definitely a good idea, and I believe that a lot of people can benefit
Mhm.
from just adding a couple of protein sources into their diet, because even if they're not going for the optimum range, I think most of us who are not aware of this importance of protein and what benefit it can provide even for general health, there's still a big gap which needs to be like filled out, and awareness must be created. I think we all are doing a fair job in that area, plus you also taking charge of your health, getting to understand about these things better in a much more scientific way, and keeping that temperament like aware of being aware and everything ready, that is definitely going to be helpful. And I believe it's not just going to be limited to you, and it's going to be affecting around your family, your loved ones, and so
Yes.
because they also get motivated by seeing you do certain things and they try to imitate, and this is a healthy cycle which needs to be
Yeah.
like continued, right? Yeah. Got it. And you mentioned that you added on some strength training towards the start of the ethical challenge. So, what did your day look like in terms of, let's say, including the number of steps plus your workouts and your day-to-day job as well? So, how did
Mhm.
you manage about it, or how did you manage it, or how did you go about it basically?
So, yeah, just talking about a routine. I wake up relatively early, so like 4:30. So I just like getting freshen up, and then I go for a walk for half an hour, 45 minutes. Um, I jog if I don't have to go to the gym, but if I have to go to the gym, I just take it like casual walk, and then go to the gym for 45, 50 minutes. And then after that, I come home and then I get ready for my work, and then it's like from 8 to 6, 6:30. I come back and I walk a lot at workplace as well. So my office is in the middle of the rice field, so I have all the luxury to take long walks any time of the day. So that's a big plus for my for my fitness regime right now. And then I come home and I have some meetings or so, and then I also after dinner I also walk like just 10, 15 minutes. So I think some days are there like where I can hit like 15K or 16K steps as well, and
Right.
18K is the max. I don't want to go overboard with that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is a pretty good. I though it feels good actually if you hit uh, new highs every
Yeah.
day with the steps.
So
Yeah,
but it can happen, it may happen once in a while, and that's a
yeah,
good thing, right? You also understand that these are your limits and you cross
yeah.
them. So it's definitely a good feeling that you like
Hmm.
go through. Plus, I can see that your day is also divided into multiple parts where you take those small active steps towards
Hmm.
just hitting up, like getting staying physically more active and all those things, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes people overwhelm themselves into like doing all of it at once, and that usually doesn't work out. I don't think it will work out for a lot of people out there. So it's better to just divide it throughout the day, which you already did, and it feels better that way. You It's
I
manageable.
Yeah, I think you have to do intentional like walks, especially like and not to go like in one go, but just like you have to just cut it into small pieces, and let's say for 10 minutes, these small steps can just at the end of the day they can add up and then give you whatever target you have in mind. So
Even
that
if you
way.
not hit the target, you get close to it.
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Correct. Because sometimes our mindset is also like that all or nothing kind of approach, right? Because extremes are fancy. You want to get everything done or you just don't do anything. It's just like it's your own self-sabotaging nature at times in action that allows you not to behave a certain way. But I think if you just think of the bigger picture, and if you also have a very strong intent and force yourself at times, that
Yeah.
is going to set your habits in the first place. Once that part is set, rest of it comes naturally to you after a couple of weeks or a couple of months.
And I think like probably you're also a coach, and I have been working with Neha for a while. So, and also I was researching myself. So one thing that is consistent across all the people I talk to or who are in this kind of business or coaching people. So you just have to take it slow. You can't just have quick fixes to like 30 or 30 plus years of your bad habits, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I feel.
Correct. So
Yeah.
yeah, people actually don't see the amount of effort or the amount of work, the months of effort actually which has been put into getting to a certain point. They do see the before and after, but they forget the timeline or the forget the emotions or the effort that it took to get there. Obviously, before and after things are appealing. They are quite catchy and they do act as a good motivation to get things started, but you have to also accept your limitations and reality. Like you can't expect the world out in the first day itself. You have to be a little bit patient and you have to be kind to yourself basically.
And also like there are moments when you derail from the program, or but you just have to get back on the track. I mean, you can derail 1 day or 2 day, but you just have to, if you are just focused on like getting better, so
Mhm.
you will get back to the routine.
If you get most of the days right, you are on a
Yeah,
right track
yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you have to
Yes,
for.
yes,
This
yes.
actually reminded me of an analogy. Like if you have a flat tire, you don't go end up like slashing your other four tires, like three tires, four tires, right? You don't do that. You have to just
Yeah.
fix it, replace it, and just go on with your journey. So that's the same case here. Like setbacks are going to happen, life
Yes,
happens, things are going to like stop you, or there might be some resistance,
exactly.
could be any kind of problem, right? So you just have to navigate your way through it, because you don't have to stop there, you don't have to end things, because you're doing this for the rest of your life. So think of it that way. It's not just a 4 week thing, 12 week thing, or a 24 week thing. You have to maintain your strength levels, you have to maintain your health, you have to take care of it, because once you
Yeah.
start taking care of it, your performance increases, you how you feel about things, your like professional life also like gets better in terms of how you efficient you are in work and how you feel about
Yeah.
yourself throughout the day.
Yeah, I think that one you have just said it right. So you gain a lot of confidence, and so if you're healthy and you're fit, a lot of things start falling into the place which are, or it seems like they are falling in place because you were always ignoring. Let's say if you have to hit some meetings out, you are just. I'm not saying that you are not confident, but maybe you are underconfident or you are not confident
Hmm.
about a lot of things. So those kind of things can really add up in the positive way.
Yeah, exactly. And the discipline that you learned with it is also like transferable in other areas of
Yeah,
your life. So
yeah,
that's it's just a win-win situation. You just have to be
yes,
patient enough
yes,
to get those benefits over time.
yeah, yeah.
Got it. So this was like mostly about the training part and how you try to stay active. And what about your nutrition? Like what did that look like throughout the time when you were being coached by Neha? And like you said, you added some protein to your diet, which was
Yes.
lagging before. So how did you fix it? How did you go about it? Like what kind of sources did you add on apart from whey protein that you already mentioned?
Yeah. So, intentional putting like, so initially I was like, I used to eat eggs and fish, and now I've started eating chicken as well. So just adding those, like again, you can't complete like 100 grams or 100 plus grams of protein in one go, or in one meal. So you just have to divide it over different meals. So like adding like eggs in the morning, or and then tofu or protein in the lunch, and then coming back again to whey in the evening, or in snacks, and then yeah, either fish or chicken now.
Hmm.
So I think that's just like you have to just divide it over the time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And you
and
have to
also
be
that is
also
that.
mindful of quantities that you're consuming in
Yes,
so that you hit the
yes,
target.
yes, exactly.
Got it. So, like these are like pretty great sources of protein that you mentioned. Plus, whey makes life a lot easier when you're like lagging on certain days. Like if you have a too much work to do, you're not having time to cook for yourself. Whey protein is like the most convenient way to add on some good amount of protein there. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. And talking about that ethical challenge which happened, which you took part in. So like how did you feel towards the end of it and also
Mhm.
towards the beginning of it? And I do remember that you mentioned you got your blood markers tested,
Yeah.
so there was a difference there. So if you can just provide your insight and experience around the same.
So just to start with, like when I started last year in March, everything was messed up uh, for my like related to my blood markers. And as I was on the fitness journey until this ethical challenge started, so there was improvement, but there were still some off types in my blood markers, let's say cholesterol, or I forgot actually, they are in the report. So
All right.
they were off types. So, but during the challenge, I was very mindful of a lot of stuff that I should be not only like have physical transformation, but also like from the nutrition perspective. And the marker should, like, that is a win-win if I just can transform from the blood marker perspective too. And by the end of it, I just got a couple of weeks back the reports for to submit in the for the challenge, and I think everything is falling in the range. So not even like there is nothing, no blood marker that is out of range.
Oh,
Maybe, yeah, yeah. So that is,
that's great. That's great
yeah,
actually.
yeah. So I think that was I'll consider that as a very big win for me.
All right. And uh, talking about consistency during the challenge, just let's just talk about the challenge where like how consistent were you throughout the weeks? Like how was the experience? Because I know that there were certain challenges which happened in
Mhm,
between. You have to post like some kind of exercise videos, your
mhm.
meal pictures, and all those kind of things. So like how did you go about it? And let's say just how were you able to maintain the consistency? Because if you are not consistent, you wouldn't have been able to change your blood markers or do anything in a very positive direction for that matter.
I think just the challenge itself, like we had to record everything like the meal, at least that was the guidelines
Mhm.
before they started, right? So like you have to record all your meals and then also the workouts. So I think that just recording and tracking what I was doing was making me more accountable to myself and also for my participation in the challenge. So I think that was the only thing that kept me going.
All right.
It got little I there were times when I got little overwhelmed with all the posting and also
Mhm.
all the recording, but I think at the end of the day I'll say that was just 5% or 2% of the whole time that I was doing that challenge. So
All right, because when you keep a track of data,
yeah,
it keep things real, right? It's going to
yeah,
keep things real for you. You know in front of your eye that this is
yeah,
something that I have done for the day, and
yeah.
these are the areas that I can improve on for the next day or the next week, and so on. So that's a great way to do that, actually.
And also, it's not like just one thing, like you can't just eat right and get into better shape or better overall health. It's your eating right and then working out right and also sleeping right.
Mhm.
So I was also tracking all these things. So I think that was also a big change for me.
Okay, so how was your overall experience with it? Like, how did you feel about it?
I think it was pretty good. It helped me gain a lot of confidence that I can do it consistently.
Mhm.
And I will not, even if I am derailed for a while, I can get back on the track pretty fast because of all the results that I'm seeing for myself and a lot of motivation and then I think compliments that I'm getting like just for the transformation. I think that is
That
that
keeps you
the
going.
yes, yes, I think so. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And you did mention that you have been like listening to some or the other kind of podcasts, watch some videos on there. So not going to be very specific about it for a very
Mhm.
particular video, but what would be those key takeaways that you remember or you can recall from some of the things that you watched or learned about? Like a couple of things I'm sure that will help the audience and the listeners who are going to watch this podcast.
I think all these transformation journeys or the real transformation journeys that you will come across or you see or people talk about, I think it's majorly it's a multi-layered uh, project just to do. So it's not just one thing that will come into play. So there are a lot of things that will come into play. So for example, like I have just kicked out all the snacks that I used to hunch on, munch on earlier. So just to not get into that, just don't give yourself that kind of space,
Hmm.
right? To just go off the track. Um, Even if you have to go off the track, you just need to work. Let's say if you have to go to a grocery shop to buy a packet of chips or something, at least that's what I have done for myself.
Hmm.
And the big takeaway from all this is that you just have to take it slow. You can't just do it overnight, and whatever you want to do overnight will not be sustainable.
Yeah.
So across all the videos that I have been watching and like all the podcasts that I've been listening, or it's just not one thing that will work out, but there are a lot of factors that come into play.
Yeah, it makes sense because good things are going to take some
Mhm.
time. You have to put in the effort. That's how you get results. Like as cliched it may sound, that's
Yeah,
simply how things work, and they will keep on working that way. You just have to make conscious choices with intent towards the goal, and you need to have a strong reason why you are doing that. That's what also will help you to keep going forward on the days when you're not feeling your best or something like that.
and also you have to follow the scientific approach, and that's where I think coaching and guidance, especially with PFC and with Neha, came very useful, and that was a big push because you just can't go with, let's say, quacks or just
Hmm.
random fad diets or something. So you have to have a reason of why you are doing and or how you are doing. So it just can't, like, even if a coach is saying, okay, this exercise or this one, so it is like pretty it has to be structured program, and that structured program can only come from more scientific science based
Correct.
approaches. Yeah,
Yeah, and it takes out the guesswork, right? Before this, you
yeah,
were you were also like you said, right? You were performing things based on a hit and trial approach.
yeah,
That if it works, you stick to it. If it doesn't,
yeah, yeah,
and while that is a good way to go about things, but it takes a lot of time. So if you
yeah.
have an option to like reduce that time and effort in that area, and probably like get some guidance, that makes things a lot easier for you basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. And before I wrap up this podcast episode, I would like to know, if someone who is looking to take charge of their health, what would be your suggestion to them?
Like I have said it now multiple times, I think you just have to go slow. It just can't, you can't just rush on the things that you have been doing from years and years of, let's say, misusing your body, or, like not handling your diet properly. So you just have to, like, just take it slow, one step at a time, and it will come if you are more motivated to, follow that path. So it will come.
All right, and
Yeah.
I'll just add on one point. Everyone should just start walking. That's the
Yeah,
easiest thing
yeah,
they can do.
definitely. I think, yeah, and then tracking the steps over the year now, I think my average is coming like 12K or 13K, which is, I'm very proud of that. And also, I mean, you get a lot of time to think on a lot of other things when you're walking,
Hmm.
and you can use this time to call your friends or family, and also you can attend meetings. So
Yeah,
I think you don't lose anything for by walking. So
but you get all the benefits which comes along
exactly,
with it.
exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
This was a good conversation. Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, thanks, Bernit, for giving this opportunity to talk about it.